guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute, it's been at least a couple weeks since I posted something, but I just been busy basically working on other people's project. I've been hustling on the side just to, you know, get these other projects of mine going. It seems like I'm making more time for other people's cars but mine, but nevertheless, this is an engine kind of been working on little by little. It's not my engine, it's for a customer as well, but I just wanted to go ahead and just post something. Figured, hey, why not post this on how I go about polishing and clearancing up bearings on these rotary engines. So this video is for pretty much for anyone who wants to get into building rotaries or want to know about rotaries, or enthusiasts, non-enthusiasts. You know, this it's more to it than just stacking up a rotary engine like a lot of people think. There's a lot of videos out there that just show you the nice, easy, fun part where they're just stacking them up, putting the apex seals in, and hey, that's it, we're done. Nah, there's a lot more to it, and these are areas that you got to be real careful. So we're just gonna get all into that, and yeah, I figured why not. You know, it's been a couple weeks since I posted something, so here we go. Alright guys, this part's real tedious. I thought I might show you guys right quick. I know there's a bunch of videos out there on how to put bearings on. You can go check those out if you like, but I'm not gonna get too deep into it. But you want to make sure that this is dead center as much as possible. And then I bought this tool from Pineapple Racing. He gave me some tips many years ago on how to do this. So you want to pump it like 9 to 10 times. I always do it less than that, and then release the pressure, as you can see. And then I just kind of move it, keeping my eye on this line, making sure that it's right in that gap, right in the middle. There's ways to fix it. You could always leave pressure on here and kind of twist it with your hand if it does go out of the center gap here. So there's ways to fix it, but obviously I put a bunch of Vaseline around there, and that way it could go in easy. Another way is you could go ahead and freeze them, but I'm sure it shrinks a little, but I've never found any difference on the bearings. I don't find it easier when you freeze them. It's the same. It's all in being centered as possible, so you won't ruin the bearing when you're pressing it in. There you go, it's right in the center. Alright, next step is just kind of lube it up. Get some scruff pad. Just kind of lightly clean it. Now I have a spare eccentric shaft here. As you can see, I have a couple of them laying around. These are just dummy eccentric shafts. It's not for the actual engine that we're going to build, but if everything went well, this should slide in. There we go. See that in the spins too. So that means that we did a good job. Nothing got binded, and sometimes it does happen when you're a little reckless and you're in a rush. They kind of do tend to get bent if they're not dead center or center as possible. So in this case, it's really good.
Now next step is, since these are new, on the eccentric shaft that we're using, we're gonna have to measure the inner diameter, and along with the eccentric shaft's outer diameter, and try to get it as close as possible to Mazda's recommended specs for the tolerance in between for the oil flow. So here we go. All right, guys, we got all the bearings pressed in. I didn't show the rotors because it's pretty much the same step, so spare you guys to board them up, you know, doing everything. But that's basically how you go about doing the rotors as well. And you guys could see these are new. Kind of got ahead of myself. There's a little bit of scratches on there, but that's just from me just measuring in there with the scope. So that's gonna get a little bit scratched, but we could always go back and kind of polish it or clean it. But so you guys could see, that's basically the rule of thumb. If you start seeing some copper come through, it's time to swap them out. So this one, I don't know if you guys could see it. Let me put it closer to the light. See, this one's like really scratched up. All right, fellas, let's get started. So these are some of the numbers I did before I decided to even put this on YouTube. But basically, you could go two ways about it. You could go the manual way. I'm measuring your inner diameter, which is one of these. It's a telescoping bore gauge. I just call it a manual gauge to check your bore. Or you could go with this here, electric one. So we're gonna use both just so you guys can see how I go about it. And this is actually how I started with these. There's nothing wrong with it. It just takes a lot longer. So we start with this one here. Obviously it's at 0, and you want to let me see, my hand's blocking it. So this lever here, just pull it back, and you just basically go in here, and you just pretty much move it side to side, kind of like a circle. And what you're trying to do, you're just trying to find, you know, the biggest number. In this case would be 52, and you could go all the way around. In this case, I got 52 all the way around. So just in case you guys are wondering how I got 2.9152 from the bore gauge, it's basically because once I measured it in there, I went back and remeasured it with my micrometer, and that's the number it gave me. So that's how I got the 2 inches, even though I wasn't reading it here. I just went back and remeasured it on here just to get accurate numbers. I was using this to you know, measure the lobe on the eccentric shafts. So I got 52 all the way around. So these are the numbers I started off with. So both front and rear rotor started, they were at 9152. These are decimals, obviously. 9152.5. Just crossed out the 5 because it's not really relevant, at least not for Mazda specs. And if we go here, so you can see this one's already nicely polished. They're both polished already, but I started with 320 and just worked my way up to 2000 and to that mirror finish. So again, these are the numbers. I didn't put the 2 down here. Again, these are the numbers for the lobe under center shaft, and I kept jotting down every time I would grind off the scratches. Just kept jotting it down, and I would do the math. This is the bearing and the eccentric shaft, so I would do the math as I went down, and this is the number I came up with. Once it was nicely polished, all the scratches were off, then I stopped. Then I had to work with this one to get the difference between the 10,000ths on there. So again, if you're new at this whole decimal thing, and again guys, it's not just about stacking the engines, but you want to make sure you have everything clearanced. There's a lot of builders out there that don't go as far as this. They think it's just all about just changing bearings, slapping it together. That's not the case. Now there's shops out there that'll do this for you. So if you send your rotors to get balanced, I'm sure they offer that service, as well as, you know, clearancing and polishing and all that. Yeah, so again, it's just for you guys who are interested in knowing what's going on with the rotary engine, and you don't have to necessarily be a builder, but this is what actually goes into it, you know. And some shops take long because you want to make sure everything gets checked. If not, then you're gonna have trouble with engines getting locked. Some people are not sure why their engine's locked or why they spun a bearing. All right, so these are the new bearings, and I already got the number for these, but we're gonna go ahead and measure them again. All right, not bad, guys. So the bearings, well, it's expected, they're brand new, so I'm not surprised, but that's what I got. 1.69 35 with brand new bearings, and this is what I got with the eccentric shaft, or the journals. 1.6920, 1.69, there we go, 20. So here we go, guys. I'm gonna start polishing. So the difference between these two, it's obviously 15, so it needs to be between 16 and 31. So we're below. I still gotta polish these a little bit more. I probably won't be knocking off anything, probably 10,000, maybe less than that. But again, we still gotta polish these, so we're gonna try to stay in between 16 and 31. All right, so we're gonna start with 320 and work our way up. Alright, that's your 320. So got a lot of the scratches off, so we're gonna go ahead and do the front one. This is the rear, and we're gonna do the front and start going up. Alright guys, that's with 800, and it's already looking good. Still needs a little more. We'll go up to 2,000, but it's getting there. So before I continue, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this and see where we're at. Alright fellas, there it is. That's the whole polished look to it. So just gotta give it a little more and we'll be done. So I finished it up with some of this jewelry cleaner. I believe that's what they call it, some wax, but just finished it up with that. Gave it a high nerve polish. Either way, I had to use the microfiber cloth just to here, can I see that? Microfiber cloth, brand new, cleaned the whole eccentric shaft once again. And before I forget, the little galleries here, the little holes, I did round them off, chamfered them, because you don't want these sharp at all, because it could damage the bearings as well, the rotor bearings and the main bearings. But yeah, we did it all, high polished it, and that's how we went about it. And just gave everything one last check. As far as like the bearings, we repolished them, and I'm gonna show you the numbers right now. But we repolished them and got rid of all those scratches from measuring. You can still see some right there, but you know, you can't really feel it to the touch. I'm sure the oil will take care of it down the line. But yeah, when I was cleaning it, had a nice mirror finish, but this is a brand new microfiber cloth too, so from Home Depot. So kind of scratched it up again, but it had a higher polish or higher clean look to it. But there it is, guys. And then we'll get some help. I'm gonna show you guys some. All right, guys, got my daughter here to help, and this is the rear, just so you guys could see how tight of a fit it still is. But you see that? Don't worry, it's oiled up. You still gotta kind of like, now I'm gonna check the front. Always want to double, triple check your work. And there we go, it's a nice tight fit. So that's what we want to see. And let me go ahead and I'll show you guys the numbers. All right, guys, so here are the numbers. Hopefully I didn't, you know, speed up too much, and I'm sure I left something out. You guys could always ask me or reach out on, you know, on the comment box below or whatnot. But here we go. So these are the numbers. This is what we started off with, the bearings. That was the size of the bearings, and this is the size of the journal where the bearings ride on. So you guys can see we started off with an inch point 6920. That was with grit 320, and I stopped as soon as I got to 19. I just jumped in, started polishing it. So that's what I did, just started polishing. I also no need to keep grinding. The scratches were gone, and of course just doing the math. So basically in this case I was just going for the tolerance needed. I got it 17. I was happy with that. And this right here in the middle, I wrote it for you guys. So this is basically the tolerance that you need for a non-high revving engine, meaning like 8,000 RPMs and under. That's the number you want to get to. So anywhere from 0.0016, I don't think I wrote it down earlier for you guys. It's between these two numbers, 16 and 31. Don't worry about the rest. It just needs to be between 16 and 31, and we were able to get them at 17 both. So I'm happy with that number. We're gonna have some good clearance, and of course the front, as you guys could see, I went back and just made it clear. I think I wasn't clear as far as 23 or 27, so you guys could understand. That's a whole different channel. So it needs to be anywhere between these two. Long story short, I really don't want to get into the whole number thing, but we were able to get the front rotor to 0.0023, the rear 0.0027. I went down through all these numbers. The rotor bearings, not the bearings, but the lobes on the where the rotor bearings ride on, that took a while. They were really beat up, they were really scratched. So it was very tedious and it took a while, but we got it within the 16 and the 31 mark. So this one's 23 and this one's 27, and again there needs to be a difference between those two of 5/10 thousandths. Okay, so you guys could have an idea. I was trying to find something that was similar to those numbers there. I said, okay, zeroed in, and this is just regular drawing paper. Well, it depends what kind of drawing paper you buy, right? But that's 0.0070. This regular writing paper, 0.0030. So I'm like, shoot, man, I can't find anything that's as thin as you know, these numbers here, 0.0027 or 0.0017. So I found this from a Ziploc bag, you know, the little Ziploc baggies. That's 0.0020. So that's pretty close within the range. So this paper's too thick and this paper's too thick. So you guys can have an idea. This is what we're working with. And keep in mind that you gotta divide that with pi, because it's not just one side. You gotta stretch this number. You gotta stretch these numbers out in a circle. And you know, again, that's a whole different channel, you know, math or trigonometry, that's what it's called. The whole circumference. So you gotta stretch these two numbers out. Imagine how thin that is. And that's where the oil rides on. So it's like, picture just me stretching this out. So, you know. But anyway, we got it done. We're able to get it. And these are some of the stuff that a lot of rotary channels that are out there might not show you. Because it's very tedious, a lot of numbers. Not a lot of people want to get into numbers or get into measuring all this stuff. So a lot of guys, what a lot of builders do, we just send them out to the machine shop and let them deal with it. But I actually enjoy doing this stuff. I enjoy working on numbers, and you know, it's just very challenging when you don't know your numbers or you don't have the proper tooling. That's a big thing too, when you don't have the proper toolings. As you can see, my caliper, and so this caliper, I like this caliper. It's a Mititoyo, but it only goes up to so you got tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and then you have some other ones that go 100,000s, like my micrometer. So again, I'm always double checking. There we go. I'm always double checking with my micrometer. See, so this one's got the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, and it goes all the way to 100,000s. So check that out. So you see, you barely touch it, and it's like, you know. So yeah, I got a couple of these. And again, I always like to double check my work, especially when it comes to polishing or trying to get rid of those scratch marks on the eccentric shafts. You'll know by the 100,000s mark where you're at. So if you knock off 5, boom, you know you're gonna go to 8. If you knock off to 7.5, 7, 5, then you take off the 5. So it gets to the margin of error. That's what I'm trying to say. So again, going back to what I was saying, you know, getting the right tools, the proper tools, will definitely make the job easier. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it. And because I got engineering background too, with CNC machining, lathes, all that stuff, robotics and things like that. So you know, giving you guys a little background on my past. Back in the days, you guys even care to know.